Hi there, this is Judy from paperpalmtree.com, and this is the project I have for you today. This is called an envelope bag in a box, and I have found the tutorials all over Pinterest, so I'm not sure who started this, but I wanted to share with you my version of this. And I have used the Designer Series paper, the Daisy Delight, and this is such a beautiful Designer Series paper set. It comes 12 by 12, and if you don't know, with Stampin' Up! On the back, the name of the paper pack is here, but it also tells you the coordinating colors of the cardstocks that will go with this, and I use that. I think that is helpful because sometimes some of the papers and some of the colors, you just want to make sure it's just that right tone. So on the back is that's helpful. But let me share with you these beautiful papers. I love this paper pack, and that's Daisy, and there's two of each of these in the paper pack. And isn't that pretty? And then this one, and of course with all the Designer Series paper, they are double-sided. So on the back side are these colors, and they are so pretty. And so this is Old Olive. This is the new color. Let me look. It's called Tranquil Tide. That's the new in color. Love this paper. Love. So, like with other Designer Series papers, I kind of tend to hoard them and don't like to use them because once they're out, I'm like, oh, you know. So I find a lot of value in these papers. Now, I took this 12 by 12 page, and this is our paper, and this is the one I selected for this, and love this. So the artists at Stampin' Up! Do the prints, and oh gosh, they're so beautiful. And this is the back side of this. And so the nice thing about the Designer Series paper is that when you have a double-sided paper, so what's inside you can also see. It coordinates with the exterior of that. Love that. So this is this big daisy design. This one's got, I think it's got a Calypso coral color to it. Let's see again. Tranquil Tide, Calypso coral. Let's see what else is in there. Old Olive, so there is a little bit of the Old Olive. And of course Whisper White. And a little bit of, it says Pool Party, but it may not be in that one. But so you can kind of coordinate from here and tell what's in here if you're trying to match them. So I used, on this one, I used Hello Honey. And here's the color of the Hello Honey. And you see it just pulls in a little bit of that color. So anyway, let me share with you how you do the bag in the box. And let me share also in there before I tell you how to do this. I've got 4 of the Hershey Nuggets that fit just right down in there. So isn't that cute? So also with the Daisy papers, you can coordinate it with the new Daisy Punch that's come out. And love this too. It's a nice sized daisy. And so I have used it here. And you punch out 2. I'll show you how to do that. But you punch out 2 to make that come together. So let me show you how to do the envelope punch board bag in the box. So you're going to take the punch board, and there's a stylus that comes in with it. And I have cut the 12 by 12 page paper from the DSP down to 6 by 6s. So that means I can get 4 of these out of one piece of paper. And I like to make this designer paper go as far as I can. And to me, that's perfect. So I've cut down the 6 by 6, and I'm going to line this first side up on 1 3/8. And so right up here are the measurements. So 1 3/8, and you're going to punch it there. And then on this, there is a line here, a diagonal line, and you're going to take the stylus and you start up at the top. Make sure you find the line, and that will score it down to that line. Now, before we turn the paper, we're going to move this down to the 4 inch. So you're going to punch at the 4 inch, And you're going to do the same thing. Start at the top, find the groove there, and pull it down. And I know you can't see this on so much on there. It's hard for me to see. But you've got 2 lines, 2 punched and 2 lines. And that's the first side. So now when you turn it, you ignore those up there. And you're going to line this little tail to the first score line that you see. And you're going to punch it there. And find your groove and come down. You're going to move it down to this other score line. It's hard to see. To the tail. Punch it. Find your groove. Sometimes that happens. Hold it. So find your groove and pull it down. Turn it again. And so you're going to do that on all 3 of the other sides. So you're not having to find the measurements on that. You just have to find that score line. So you're going to go in there and punch. And we've got one more side. Punch. Find the groove and come down. And here's our last one. Punch. Find the groove and come down. So that's all of the scoring, punching and scoring. Now on your scoreboard is the rounder on the back side. So you want to round those off. Okay, let me tell you this. On mine, I didn't use these shorter tabs. You can use them, and I will show you how to use them. I cut them off on this one, which is right here, but I'm not going to cut them off on the one I'm showing you, just so you can see what it looks like with the back side actually visible. So I am going to round those corners also. Okay, does that make sense? So on designer series paper, sometimes it is, you've got to find the right angle to see where you've scored it and where you're gonna fold it and burnish it. So you do it like all the other boxes. You're gonna take your bone folder and find all the score lines and fold and burnish. And we're going to go this way. Got a tab right there. And I think I got 2 more. Yep. One there. And one there. Okay. So as you see this, there are the wider flaps. I call these my wide flaps. These are my skinny flaps. So where the wide flaps are, there are 2 score lines right here. You're going to take your snips and you're going to cut your score line up to the score line that you're crossing. So that is hard to see. So I'm going to bend it a little bit so I can see it. And I'm going straight up. And I'm going up there. Turn it around. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Find your score line. Go straight up. And that's our last one. All right, so you can see, here's the skinny tabs, here's the wide tabs. So this is the score line you've cut up to here and here. So this very center rectangle is the bottom of the box. So when you turn this over, these 2 flaps, the long flaps, that's going to be the bag inside the box, right there, okay? So these outer flaps you're going to fold in just like that. Can you see how it's creating it? Now here are the smaller side flaps. On this one I cut off. This one I'm leaving on there because you can glue those down. If you like the inside of the paper showing, you can glue it down right there. Okay? So, on a couple of these I've used the tape adhesives, and let me show you on the back of this one. I like that little slot back there so I could put a card. Well, if you use the tape adhesives, it can get stuck because it never dries. It's still kind of tacky in there. So on this one I chose to use a wet glue just along, and I'm using our Tombow green top liquid glue. And these two pieces that come across right here is where I want glued. So this is how I did mine. Ooh, sorry. So I'm going to take the crossover area, put a little bit of wet glue on there. And to get both sides, I kind of touch it a little bit. Does that make sense? And then make it come together. And I put just a paper or a clothespin on there until that dries. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So here's our flaps, and I'm going to go, yeah, right here. And then you see where that glue is. So I want that to kind of, you know, be wherever this is going to meet over here. So I kind of touch it and let it slide together so that you're spreading that glue out. I hope that makes sense. Where's my other? Well, I had another one. I don't know. Anyway, I'll hold that. I'll just hold that till that dries. That Tombow will glue dries quickly. So on these inside bags, I did not glue that down on this one. On this one I did. I used the dry adhesives. And I kind of like that, but then that card doesn't go flat there. So that's kind of a choice. You can either, you know, make sure you glue that all down, or you can leave it like I have. So on these flaps, I'm going to glue these back. So just a little bit of glue around that edge. It's probably dry, and I'm going to go down there and let that flap dry. Go on the other side. I wish I had my other... I have no idea what I did with it. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's the little bag. And these are fun to make. And like I said, if you can get 4 out of one 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I think it's a pretty bag. The Designer Series paper is such a nice weight. And when you make these, this is, you know, it's not thin, so it's a little more sturdy, I guess is the right word for it. So there's that one. All right, so let me show you on the daisy how I did that. So on this one, I used the creamy. What is the creamy called? I don't know. Creamy. It's off-white, whatever that is. Okay, so on this one, this is the paper I used. And the Daisy Delight stamp set and punch, if you buy those two together, you can save 10%. Now, on my order, I thought I did that. Apparently, what came was just the Daisy punch, and I failed to get my Daisy stamp set with it. But that's okay. I'll order it, and I will use it. But on this, I didn't stamp it. I just, because I didn't have it, just punched out. And let me show you how to do that. So the Daisy punch is, got something stuck in there. Hang on. Really? Alrighty. There we go. Piece of honey. Hello honey on there. Okay, so you're going to turn it upside down and make sure that you've got all of the paper in your punch. Right there. There's one. And there's two. So I'm cutting 2 daisies out of the punch. And you're going to take your bone folder. What is that? And I like to do mine kind of back. It to me makes it look like a natural daisy. So you're just gently going to pull the daisy petals back like that. Kind of gives it a little dimension. And I'm going to do both of the daisies that way. And I'm going to take some adhesive. Right, yep, right there. And you're going to offset those like that. So on my daisies, because I didn't have the stamp set, which I wish I did, but just show you this, I'm going to just tell you, you can do it just with the punch and not have the set with it. The stamp set has all the veins of each petal, and it is beautiful. I will get that, and I will show you the daisy stamp when I get it. But anyway, I've taken my sponge, and I'm just going to tip the edges of that just to give it a little bit of something something. There we go. And for the centers on these, you know what? There's my other, oh no. There's my other one. I'm holding that one together. Good golly. Okay. Sorry, I knew I had two of these. So, in our annual catalog, we have the faceted gems, and this is, I'm not sure the color. And this would be found in our accessories section of your of the catalog. If you're looking online, you can do the search engine on it. Let's see. That's ribbons. Okay, these are faceted gems. This is found on page 197. And is that true? I think so. Yes. No. These are no. I think these are it. Faceted gems, I think they're called. I think so. So on this one, because the daisy has a nice big center, I'm taking the large one. And these are sticky back, and you're just going to put it right on the center. And isn't that pretty? Faceted gems. And I'm going to put that on our little box. So I'm going to use a glue dot on there. Glue dots really hold the papers. They hold it nicely. So I think I'll put that on with a glue dot. Take it off like that. And it's going to go on there. And right on the corner. I love this little box. Now for the different handles, on this one I just had a clothespin that says hello. So your goodies will go in there. You can punch it. And let's see, on this one I used a slide punch, and I just put a paper clip on. I keep calling them paper clips. That's a clothespin, a mini. And on this one I used just a piece of ribbon and, went through the loop, and I like that. And so on this one, after you fill it with goodies, you can either tie a ribbon in there, you could glue that together, anything like that. So that's what I did there. So on my first one, I really wanted that back little section there to be where I could put something that I stamp for that person, a little note or whatever. So anyway, that is the bag in a box done on the envelope board, punch board. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you like this video, if you'll hit the like button down below, I would appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos from me, if you'll go to paperpalmtree.com, I have my YouTube channel and my blog, paperpalmtree.com, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. So until next time, bye.